Scottie, if you throw Tiger, I'm sorry, way back here, throw Tiger out for a minute, in your time on paying attention to golf, who's been the last dominant figure, do you think, on the PGA Tour?
Well, Doug, you kind of put me in a little corner here by taking Tiger away. I mean, to be completely honest, I think as far as I'm concerned, in my lifetime, Tiger's really been the guy that's dominated basically for the last, since 1997 up until about 2020, whenever he really got hurt. I don't know if we'll ever see anything like that again in the game of golf. As far as who else has been dominant, I think you've had a lot of guys that go through stretches where they are. You had Jordan go through his stretch. He had a year where JT won 5 times. You had those years where Rory was winning majors by a bunch of shots, and nobody's really been able to have the longevity that Tiger had. But yeah, there's always certain guys that kind of pop up on the radar and win a bunch of tournaments at once. Like Jason Day's another guy who did it. I mean, I'm sure if you give me a few more minutes, I can think of some more, but nobody really had that kind of sustained.
I mean, trying to bring baby out of the corner here, but you could probably throw yourself of late. DJ, maybe a couple years ago.
Yeah, DJ as well, yeah.
John during his stretch. And I guess my question is, how hard would it be to do now, and how much would it either help or hurt golf if it ever happened? Not to Tiger's level, but to a kind of a sustained, maybe 2 to 3 to 4 years level.
I think it'd be good for the game. I think anytime you have a figure that kind of dominates, like I think like the NBA, you look at Steph Curry for those years where the Warriors were winning a bunch. I mean, people would say they got tired of it, but at the end of the day, people were still, showing up and watching because he was incredible to watch, and you want to watch, greatness when you're out there. And so I think it'd be good for the game of golf, and, we'll see what happens with in the sport in the next few years. It's a pretty challenging game, and we got a lot of talent out here. So, being that dominant figure, I think is a very tall task to ask of anybody. But, we got some guys out here that I think can definitely pull it off.
Alex?
Yeah, Scottie, a lot of people are talking about the world rankings and if they're accurate, not accurate, so forth and so on. During your tenure of being world number 1, did you feel always that you were playing or you were world number 1?
Did I feel like that? I wouldn't say so. I mean, I never really thought of myself as world number 1, so I wouldn't really want to compare myself too much to other people. As far as the accuracy of the world rankings go, at the top, I think they're fairly accurate. And then when you get more into, the lower ranks, it becomes pretty skewed, obviously, because there's certain groups of guys that aren't getting any ranking points. And it was kind of a thing that you saw when guys went to live, their golf games took a little bit of a hit. Just basically from a strokes gained perspective. And, you have another ranking system you can look at for the strokes gained. And I would say, arguably, that would be a more accurate ranking system now. The world rankings, I still think, is a good ranking system, but it's missing a few players for sure.
Do you think also, just to go about something else, do you think also these fields now, with those guys that playing on other tours, do you think these fields lack to some extent because they're not here?
I don't really spend much time in my day thinking about them. It's kind of one of the out of sight, out of mind things, and the people that want to be on this tour are still here, and the guys that want to compete out here are still here. And so we got a lot of great competition. I'm excited with the new tournament schedule, getting the best players on our tour all together as much as we can, and I think we're in a great spot.
Okay, Alan?
Hey, Scottie. Jay earlier was talking a little bit about maybe fans feeling like they haven't had their voice felt over the last couple of years. I'm wondering, among the players, how much of a concern is it that fans are maybe feeling a little disillusioned or disenchanted by, the developments over the last couple of years, the splintering of the stars across 2 tours, all the talk about money? How much, among the players, how much of a concern is that?
Well, I guess it's a pretty broad question, and when you're talking about a fan perspective, you're talking about millions of people, and so there's always a lot of perspectives in that group. It just depends on who has the loudest voice. And I mean, at the end of the day, I think we're trying to do our best to create the best product for the fans, but we can't control whether or not guys want to leave. If guys want to go take the money and leave, then that's their decision. I'm not going to sit here and tell guys not to take hundreds of millions of dollars. If that's what they think is best for their life, then go do it. I'm not going to sit here and force guys to stay on our tour. But at the end of the day, this is where I want to be, and we're continuing to grow what we're doing, and what they're doing is not really a concern to me. And if the fans are upset, then look at the guys that left. We had a tour, we were all together, and the people that left are no longer here. And at the end of the day, that's where the splintering comes from. And as far as our tour goes, like I said, we're doing our best to create the best product for the fans, and that's really where we're at.
Hey, Scottie, you've maintained a pretty historic ball striking, at least by strokes gained, through to this season. I'm just wondering, are you tweaking things constantly with your swing? Because when we see you, it just seems like it's been automatic for the last year, but are you constantly still making tweaks to what the swing looks like?
Yeah, for sure. I think golf's a pretty challenging game, and so I'm constantly putting in the work to maintain where I'm at. Always working on my grip, always working on the fundamentals. Usually when my swing gets out of whack, it's usually something fundamental that's going wrong, and it's going to cause some sort of thing to happen in my swing, and it usually always comes down to the fundamentals of setup and whatnot.
And it's been pretty sustainable. And then on terms of the putting, is that something so fickle that you never feel like that could be sustained for long stretches, or do you feel like that's achievable?
Do I feel like what's achievable?
Like sustained, success with the putting based on how fickle it is, misses,
I mean, yeah, I think in certain ranges you see guys that are really good putters. Like if you were to look at the data of, let's say, like a Denny McCarthy, I'm sure statistically inside of 20 feet he's always one of the best. But once you get outside of that range, it really becomes a little bit more of luck involved. Like the guy you see leading from 40 feet every year is not the same, but the guys you see leading from 5 to 15 feet are probably pretty similar each year.
Okay, we're going to go Luke, and then in the back, and then we'll wrap it up.
Last putting question, I promise.
Well, from you, yeah.
From me, yeah. I think generally. But anyway, you went from using the line on the ball to not using the line and switching putter because that helps you line up. I'm just wondering, what are the pros and cons in your mind of each? Like, what did each method help you do better than others?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I guess I'll start here. Like when you're not performing as well as you should at something, what is the solution always? It's typically just to try harder at that thing. Well, if you're missing your jump shot, well, you need to practice your jump shots more. And if I'm missing putts, well, then I need to practice my putting more. But I think it goes a little bit more in depth than that. At times last year, I think I definitely tried too hard on my putting. And the idea of not going to the line is to become more free over the ball. And I found a putter now where I found a putter now that I line up very well, and the line on the ball I was using to help myself line up. I wasn't using it as trying to hit it perfect each time or using it in anything else other than to try and help myself line up. And at times I think it got to the point where a ball would go in, but if that ball didn't roll end over end, at the back of your head, you're like, wait, did I hit that putt really good? Or, I think sometimes I expected perfection out of myself. And I'm like that in a lot of different things. And so when it comes to the putting, now not using the line, just to be more free, to not try as hard, which is a heck of a lot easier said than done because, worked my entire life to get here to the PGA Tour and to have chances to win majors, have chances to win tournaments out here. And it's a lot easier to say, hey, it doesn't really matter if you miss or make it. But at the end of the day, it matters a heck of a lot to me whether or not that putt goes in or not. But it's about sticking to my process and controlling what I can control. And that's having a good attitude and hitting a good putt, and not using the line, I think, has helped a good amount in that.
Okay, last question. In the back.
Scottie, no one's defended a title here so far ever. What do you think makes it so tough? Also, what do you think you're going to have to do to hopefully be the first one to get that done?
I just think it's a golf course where you don't see a lot of repeat winners in general. There's not a guy that you've seen win on this golf course a bunch. And I think it's just the nature of the course. It doesn't really suit one type of player. It really is, Pete Dye, just kind of genius design where you have to hit all different kinds of shots, and it tests you in a lot of different ways. And that's why I think it's one of the best places we play on tour, just because it really doesn't suit one type of player. And bomb and gouge doesn't really work out here. You kind of got to plot your way around. But then you even have the shorter hitters that plot it around that can struggle here because you got to hit it exactly where you're looking or you're going to be punished pretty severely out here.
Great. Scottie, thanks so much for the time. Best of luck this week.
Thanks, y'all.